Welcome back to Stick to Fitness, brought to you by myself and my co-host, Archie. And today's topic for discussion is, well, fat loss stories. Specifically mine and yours, really, because everybody loves a prep story. So the realism is that everybody isn't 100% adherent, right? So what sneaky treats have you had whilst being on prep?
No, I honestly can, apart from last time prepped, after the first show, I had some of the, like the shows they sell like those brownies and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I prepped with AJ for 36 weeks, not one treat.
Wow.
Then obviously the second time round with yourself, 54 weeks.
Something mad, that's like, yeah.
54 weeks, and there was not a single time that I broke.
Wow. So,
Mr.
Adherence over here, making me look bad.
No, but I mean, after that first show, the BMBF one, I had like a few, me and Michael in the car on the way back.
Yeah, of course.
And then...
As you do, right?
And then that was it, yeah. But in terms of, in the lead up to that first show, which was 52 weeks, there was not a single time where anything, not even a meal out, nothing, Nando's.
You only competed the once, right? When you did the...
with AJ?
Yeah. It was just once that season, right?
Yeah, competed once, yeah. After that, then I went ham. After that 36 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
So what about you?
Oh man, I am Mr. Non-adherent. I would say. I think, oh man, I could tell you crazy stuff, but I think my first prep that I did with Jordan, I was, immaculate with that.
Yeah,
I had a real want, and desire. And I think, but one other thing I think that was different was I'd never, I didn't really get into the condition that I do now, right? So even with, the overeating, I'm still in a much better condition because I think perhaps the non-adherent side of it is that I didn't, because I wasn't as lean, the hunger cues, etc. doesn't come so much. So, I mean, I'm still adherent all the way up to a point, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But once I start hitting that, 70, so my stage weight is usually around 75. I haven't got any lower than that. I know I need to. But yeah, around that 73, 74 mark, that's when, things start to get...
We look forward to
even heavier than that. Sorry, I'm going backwards. 76, 77, that's when things get a bit sticky. Yeah, for myself. I've had some mad ones where my first season in terms of being back in the UK, that one was, I pushed super hard. So it was a 16-week diet that I did, and I don't think my calories got that low. It did get low, but there was no there wasn't any planned refeeds as such, and there was a lot of cardio involved. So I was doing, by the end of it, I was doing an hour and a half of just steady state cardio, and then 20 minutes of HIIT, every day.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I got very lean, but at the same time, it was a big push, and I could just feel my body just...
It's horrible.
It was just breaking down.
It's horrible, but at the same time, it's yes, this is what I need.
But I was literally in the position where it's so much of a struggle that I was freezing, man. I'm a cold guy in general, but man, I remember I started the job at 6 weeks out as well, a brand new job. Oh, that was rough, and I'd gone from doing some online coaching to now going back into the gym floor. And I was flagging, man. At 6 weeks, I was eating my own hands. The aircon was down there. We didn't have the work. They didn't give us a hoodie or nothing to wear. It was those zip tops.
Quarter zips,
yeah. Oh man, I was freezing, and it was May at the time, and outside was sunny. I remember wearing a woolly hat, gloves. People looking at me
I think the coldness that you feel when you're at that low body fat. I remember when I prep with you, and I was, I'm a teacher as well, so I was in school, and it was, you're talking upwards of 40 degrees where the school was closed. We had to send the kids home.
You don't have to wear a suit though, do you?
No, but I'm wearing my jacket and tracksuit bottoms and stuff, and it's everyone's looking at you are you actually okay? And I'm like, yeah.
You wearing woolly hat?
No, not part of the woolly hat gang.
No,
not allowed to wear hats in school.
Oh no!
But like we're sending the kids home because it's so hot. But I'm in a full tracksuit and my big puffer jacket, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like the coldness that you feel, honestly, is like you can't even explain it. When you get down to that sort of low point, like for me, you know, sub 92 is like I'm really cold all the time.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How your body just turns on you when it's at that. It like why you get cold is because you're in such a big deficit and you don't have that much energy that your body stops using the energy and the calories from your food for things like, you know, heat production.
Yeah.
To preserve your living.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's like even like you can talk about like
the heart rate drops.
Your lowest resting heart rate.
Yeah, it's
crazy. It's like when you wear your Apple Watch and you're just literally sitting there and it's like starts vibrating.
What was yours?
Lowest I had was 36.
Wow.
So it vibrates below 40.
I don't know if the Apple Watch.
Yeah, it's not 100, but it's not.
It doesn't even. I don't think it even tracks anything below 36. So.
It's like, but you get in that thing where it's like you need to move, and I'm like, what do you mean I need to move? Like I'm just.
I'm moving now. I'm running.
I'm watching Netflix. Like I'm not dying, but he does that thing for like old people where it's like, you know, watch that, and even when you're sleeping, then it obviously drops even more.
Like, so I went into peak week, or I went to hospital on that, and I remember waking up and because I had all the medical stuff on me, right? The heart rate monitor, and the lady was like, "Your heart rate is so low."
Yeah.
I'm like, to a point, because you're at the end of prep. It's fine, it's normal.
Yeah,
I didn't even
she's
care.
She's like panicked. She's like,
she's watching me, literally, like sat on the chair. She's like, "Your heart rate's really low." And I was like, "Don't worry, it's always like that."
Do you get any like weird cravings when you're prepping?
This is what I'm saying, right? We're talking about sneaky treats, right? Yeah. And for me, I remember that 2019 season was the leanest I think I've ever got in my life. I didn't have as much muscle, so it didn't look as lean, but I was lean, man. You know,
yeah,
that was a big struggle for me that season. Especially, I didn't plan for the rest of the season, so it was my goal was I'll do this show and see how I get on. And the show was in June, July. It was at the time it was USN Classic. And then after that, it's like, oh, well done. You've come second. You've qualified.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. And at the time, obviously, you're buzzing, going, yeah, let's do the finals, man.
Yeah, but it's like 3 months away.
It's longer than that. Yeah. You know, this is the first contest of the season.
Yeah.
The finals are the last contest of the season.
Literally.
So for your and I'm already at bottom end. I'm done. I'm already capped out. Like after that, I should have stopped. Like I should have just gone, boom, I'll stop. But obviously, carried on.
Yeah,
made it worse. That was probably the worst prep. Like I basically didn't prep.
Yeah,
realistically.
I think that I don't think, you know, people like you prep for 54 weeks, and I think the perception of people dieting is a lot less. I remember when I first applied with AJ, like to go on a, sign up with AJ on online coaching. In my head, I was like, there's a show that I wanted to do it was like 12 weeks or something. And in my application, I said about this show. And obviously, got a lot of time for AJ in the sense of he's probably one of the most professionalist people that I've worked with, sort of thing. And he just literally turned around and said, bro, there's no way you're going to be ready. He's like, you're not doing that show. Like, and my perception was that because everyone lies like 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, is that you're going to be ready. And he was like, mate, you're going to need like near to 40. And then did 36 and was obviously nowhere near where like I was when I did it with you in terms of 54 weeks. But I don't think to get into a certain level of condition, the timing is insane. But how long it actually
see that I like that. And I think that's what I wish I had. The advice that I had in 2019. I think what I went through was that I said I want to do this contest, and it was in 16 weeks time, and the coach just got me in shape for it, right? And
beach ready.
We did what we needed to do to get in shape. So it's like, this is the time frame that you have. Let me get the job done. You know, in that time frame. And I think what I would have liked is to say, it is going to be possible, but this is rough. and I don't think you should really go for this. And
you can do it, but it's gonna be.
And this is what you potentially should do. You know, you should go for this competition, maybe like Heart of England, do the later shows, so then you can just do the final prep after for the finals, and you don't have to diet for so long. So that's the kind of advice I probably would have liked. But I think at the same time, I didn't also relay that information over either. I didn't say, but at the time, I think I didn't know either. I'm a novice, right? I don't know what's going on. I didn't know that. That was a possibility.
So with that, then, what was the lowest point of any prep, or did that particular prep?
Lowest point in terms of,
so where you were like questioning, you know, you have that whether you're doing your cardio. For me, it was always like when you're doing your cardio stuff, you're like, what am I actually doing?
No, I never had that at all. But for me, it was more so the nutrition side.
Yeah,
it was like, what am I doing here? Because I'm supposed to be dieting for this thing, and at the same time, you feel like you want to do this thing, but you just physically cannot. And you're just like, fuck. Every time I look at food, I just want to eat everything.
Would you watch like 10,000 calorie challenges?
Yeah, obviously. Everyone always does. That is the worst thing that you can do.
The worst thing that you could do.
But yeah, you have that. You have this whole long list of things. Oh, I'm gonna eat this. You know, at the end of it.
Oh yeah, I think everyone has a page in notes on their phone where it's like,
prep list.
I'm gonna go here and eat this.
Yeah.
I can remember when I prepped with AJ that time. Every time I'd go food shopping, I would buy something that I would eat.
You spend ridiculous amounts in the shopping centre.
I would buy something that I could eat afterwards.
You put it in a box?
Yeah, I would store it in my cupboard. But because I didn't anticipate the length of time, obviously 36 weeks, how many times you go, and you're always buying like 2-3 things or whatever. Honestly, the cupboard was stacked. And then I sat there and ate all afterwards.
But did you feel was it as good as it anticipated? Because in your head, there's this one thing, right, in that box, and you're like, this is the first thing I'm going to have.
It's never as good.
It's not as good, right?
It's never as good.
But then, so this is the problem with it, right? So you have this thing, and you're like, this is I'm going to fucking smash this afterwards. You eat it, and you're like, this is not as good as I built it up to be.
Yeah, because you feel like shit afterwards.
But I'm going to eat all of it anyway.
Oh, definitely.
And then you are trying to appease that, you know, that feeling of this pedestal that I've put this food at. I need something that's going to hit that spot.
Yeah.
And you keep eating it. You're like, this is not it, but I'll finish that. Yeah. This is not it, I'll finish that.
Yeah, you could just have a bite and be like, oh, actually, don't actually.
Let me go into the next thing, kind of thing. But no, it's never that.
It's never
As you're hoping that, you're still finishing that.
It's like when you finish and then you're like, well, I'm going to go to McDonald's, and it's like,
why?
You know, on a normal day, I wouldn't even touch McDonald's because it's not something I want. But because I finished my dieting phase, well, I need it to justify it. But yeah, like the weirdest thing that I ever did prepping was I started vaping.
Because what is that? Is that when you started then?
Yeah, I was just desperate for the taste, like a sweet taste in my mouth. And I remember I was going to the shop and I was like...
But couldn't you just have like a Diet Coke or something like that?
Yeah, but you know me, I was rinsing them already.
Okay.
Like that wasn't curbing it. And then I went down to like, I only really want one of them.
What, a vape?
No. I was getting down to a vape and a half a day. Literally. But I was only wanted like one can of cherry Pepsi Max a day. So I was like, right, but I need something sweet. So I walked in the shop and I'm like, looking at all these flavours. Like, I was like buzzing. Like, yeah, I'll take one of them. And I'm going back there, I'm like, chuffing on these. But I was like, oh, I taste that one. And sitting in my room, like, it's like, literally getting all these different flavours. And then after about a week of doing it, my mate was like to me, what, you started vaping? I was like, yeah. He's like, you know, that's got nicotine in it. And I was like, yeah, but it's not. So you're going to get like addicted to nicotine for the sake of flavour. And then in my head, like, I thought, yeah, it's probably not the best thing to do. So I went on Amazon and bought nicotine-free vapes.
They exist?
Yeah, nicotine-free vapes, yeah.
Oh, wow. So what is it then?
I don't know.
Oh, shit.
But I was just...
It's got free nicotine in it?
It's like just flavour. It was just flavoured air.
Oh, okay.
And I was doing like 2 vapes a day.
2 vapes?
Minimum.
It's like liquid. How long? Like, I don't know how long. I don't know.
Some people can make a vape last like... It depends. They're roughly about 500... puffs or something for like puffing. Yeah, but I was literally, if I was in the car, I'd be just having it in my mouth.
It's like your oxygen supply.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah.
You're just literally breathing off it.
Yeah, just no. I just needed flavour.
What was the flavour?
You name it, buddy.
Really? But what was the best flavour?
Best flavour? Cherry.
Cherry. You like cherry?
Yeah.
It tastes like medicine, though.
No, it tastes nice, man. It tastes like cough sweets.
Do you still vape now?
No. So as soon as I ended my contest prep season,
It's gone.
the vapes were gone.
Really?
So thank God I didn't stick to the nicotine ones. So that was a pretty dark place with you, like just vaping. But then I'll do my cardio in the morning. I'd look forward to walking back from the gym because I can have a vape. Bizarre.
So bizarre.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's absolutely nuts. But yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that. My 2019 prep was definitely the worst, for sure. I was at that point where I was driving to Five Guys to get food.
Really?
Yeah, like where actually this Five Guys here. I drove to this one.
So there was nothing on your way there. There was nothing where it was like
I put all the things in place to stop myself from eating. So I stopped buying all the food, didn't have it in the house, blah, blah, blah.
So you made it that you had to leave. If you want it, you have to go out of your way.
So I fucking wanted it, man. You know what I mean?
What did your wife say?
She obviously she wouldn't live with me at the time, right? So she didn't say anything. She didn't know.
Okay.
But
so you hid it from her as well.
I hid it from everyone, right?
You hid it. Did you hide it from?
I tell you what,
who was your coach? 2019.
It was Jeff.
Jeff. So you hide it from Jeff?
No, I think I told it. I didn't tell him in depth the details about it.
Oh yeah, okay.
Actually, I don't know if it was then. No, I wasn't with Jeff at the time. I think it was in interim.
Okay.
It was the interim period.
Where you were doing it like sort of yourself.
Yeah, I was coachless. I was jumping from between. And that's when I just went...
Trying to find the one with a good qualification.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, and I think at the time it was nuts because it was to a point that and that was when Luke Sando was posting those videos, right? You know, he was prepping, I think, for the Arnold, and he was going to like Five Guys each week.
Well, he thought if Luke can do it, I can do it.
And then he would have like, I think he had like, his meals was like 2 of those hamburgers, the large fries, and he'd have a hot dog as well, something like that, right? And I was like, all right, cool, maybe 2 hamburgers, all right. So I bought the hamburgers, right? Because your eyes are bigger than your stomach is, right? So I bought 2 hamburgers. I think I had 1. And I felt so sick. Like, I was so full. And I think because of the sodium and everything, the only thing I could do was just drive home. And the first thing I did was just crawl in my bed and just like in this...
Any regrets?
I mean, obviously, yeah, you wish that you didn't do that, right? But I think it's an experience, right? It's something that you want to learn. And, you know, if people go through overeating tendencies and things like that and, you know, they feel shit about it. And going through that, I know the whole mindset around it.
Yeah,
because you feel horrible. You feel that sense of guilt. That was definitely, I would say that's a binge eating.
Yeah, but I think it's
that
easy
for sure.
when you do have a coach. So you said in that interim period you didn't have one. I think it definitely is. Like I know when I did it with you or with AJ or whoever you've been working with, it's almost like you don't want to let that person down as well.
Of course.
So that temptation's always going to be there.
But then you've got this thing where you're like, you're doing it and now it's like, oh, I don't want to tell this person. You know, and it makes you feel, sometimes I feel like it makes you feel even worse.
Yeah,
like,
no, definitely.
I've got to tell this person now that I've done this. What are they going to say? What are they judge me? All that stuff, right? And all of that stuff, it's just simply just down to having a very, very low body fat.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Insane levels. Like, and I remember at that time, because that was my first experience of this, right? It's like, I'm never going to get back to like not feeling hungry again. You know, I just said, I'm eating and eating and eating.
You do.
I
feel like that.
I still feel hungry. It's like, and I've done it to a point where I feel sick. I wake up tomorrow, don't eat, because obviously you feel guilty.
You feel guilty, yeah.
And then you just do it again the next day.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's going on there?
Well, do you remember our phone call conversation after the first show?
After your first show?
Yeah.
I can't remember, no. Remind me.
So I was obviously disappointed about what happened.
Oh,
I was I need to, if I'm going to do this next show in 2 weeks, then I need to
make it matter.
I need to make, like, I'm going to throw everything at this. Yeah. I remember calling you saying, I said to you, I'm going to do 0 carb and 0 fat for 2 weeks. I'm going to do 200 grams of protein.
You did it though, no?
Yeah. Yeah, but you said something along the lines of like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but fuck it, let's do it. And I was doing, so it's roughly about 900-ish calories a day of just protein, and that was it.
The thing,
I didn't have anything else. I was doing
at that time, I think my thought process as well, I could tell him no, but he's probably going to do it anyway. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
And
so,
I would have told you.
Yeah. So if I tell him yes, at least I can have some sort of control over this.
Yeah, so that was, and I remember I was doing 2 hours of cardio a day on the stairs.
Yeah.
An hour in the morning, an hour post-workout, training, and 15,000 steps. And I remember the first day, the first 2 days were actually a breeze.
Yeah.
After that...
It's because you had all those cookies in the car.
With Mike.
Yeah.
But I honestly thought I was going to kill myself. There was a point where I was like, this is going to kill me.
Yeah. Were you at your grandma's, right?
Yeah, so I went down to I had 2 weeks left till the next show, and I was like, I just need to be away from everyone.
Yeah,
and she lives, down by she lives by herself. She lives down by the beach. It's quite a nice environment to be around. And she just couldn't get her head around the fact that
you weren't eating food.
I wasn't eating anything apart from egg whites. That's the only thing I ate was just egg whites.
Your farts must have been brewing, boy.
Yeah. Was constipated a lot of the time.
Really?
And I think it was down to... I ate egg whites throughout my whole prep.
Yeah.
Like, if you have too much of the same thing, it's never good for you. So.
I think egg whites are very sensitive. But again, there's also probably... is it conservation? I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of... You ain't got no food in you to digest.
Yeah. So, but she just couldn't understand the fact that I'd wake up, go to the gym for an hour, do cardio abs, hour and a half, come back, eat this egg white omelette thing.
That was it.
With her, with a cup of coffee.
Did she have an egg white?
She'd have like some yogurt or something.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, what are you going to do now? I'd be like, well, I'm going to go back to the gym and train. She's like, but you just come back from there. What have you been doing? I was like, no, I did this. Now I need to go back and then train.
That's some holidays, isn't it?
Yeah. Then do another hour's cardio. Then I'd come back, eat another egg white omelette, I'd sit with her for a bit. And she'd be like, what are you going to do now? I'd be like, well, I've still got 13,000 steps left to do for the day, so I'm just going to go for a walk. And honestly, bless her, she just couldn't understand what I was doing or why, but she would still support, she'd clean the pan, to help me.
Buy egg whites.
Buy the egg whites, and that was it. And I can remember even with her, I made there's one night where I was like, well, I'm going to have a protein paste instead. Well, I'm going to have 150 and then make it like a pancake. I could make this protein spread. What the Perform way with water? I made this little paste and I was like, putting it on.
There's carbs in that. Perform.
No, it's 3 grams, man. Putting this on here. And then I remember her watching me lick this little bowl going like this. Yeah. I remember her looking at me and she must have thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? God bless her. She's still, like I said, she's still supported. She still asks me to this day. She's like, don't ever do that again because it was a bad stage in your life. From the
outside looking in, right, it must be absolutely nuts. Imagine if your gran did that. Imagine if your gran did that.
I remember when I first started, obviously tracking food and stuff seriously, and my mum and sisters being like, I can imagine it. I don't even want to know what conversation they must have had when I was not around, being like. Why does he keep weighing everything? Is he baking a cake? Because obviously people only use a scale to bake a cake.
That's so funny.
He weighs out his rice, he weighs out his cheese, he weighs out his sauce. He's it's a bit weird, isn't he? What's he doing? But
and because you've never done it before as well.
I'd never done it before. But then now it's part of, they just get used to it sort of thing.
It's so interesting, isn't it? That because we're in this fitness bodybuilding bubble, that we forget how weird it looks on the outside.
It must be so weird. Even I remember being at work and, we have the PE teacher, we've got the PE office and she's my girlfriend now, but she wasn't at the time. And I come back from doing fasted cardio. So I came in and when I was with AJ on my rest days, I'd have a higher fat. And so 8 o'clock in the morning, I slapped my mince and peppers in the microwave. The whole PE office stunk. And I got sent out. Did you? I wasn't allowed in there to eat it because it stunk so bad.
What was it? Sorry, eggs?
Mince.
Oh.
Just 5% mince.
Why does it smell?
I don't know. But it just smelled. Maybe the seasoning or something. But, most people aren't eating...
You microwaved it, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was all right, no?
No, most people aren't eating mince at 8 o'clock in the morning.
What does it smell like, though?
I mean, it's not great, but for me, I was like, yes, finally, a nice meal.
Good stuff, man.
I was ready for that.
And you don't eat vegetables either, innit?
No, I had a few peppers in there. I'm not a big fan of vegetables.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of
I don't know how you prep without eating veggies.
No, I have a few. I've got better.
Those garden peas ain't veggies, bro.
No, I've got better. I can't do the greens.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of like all the broccoli and all that.
That's probably why you're constipated.
Yeah, but I was having like, fibre tablets, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Another prep story, because I was so constipated, I was hammering the laxative.
Yeah?
Hammering it.
But when you say you're constipated, did you actually feel like you needed to go to the toilet?
No, it just been like 3 days and I had it been, and for me, that's...
See, that's what a lot of people say, but...
That's not normal for
I've
me.
done that as well, but for me, I'm just like...
Yeah, but then you get in your own head, it's like...
I haven't had it yet.
My scale weight hasn't dropped for like 3 or 4 days. Is it down to this? And then obviously the next day you take it as, okay, well, I've just taken a shitload of laxative and shit my pants for 2 hours.
For me... So I'm now dehydrated.
Yeah, so I'm now dehydrated. So the day afterwards, you're like, oh yeah, accurate weight.
So yeah, for me, I didn't see it as that. I didn't ever think... I only feel like if I'm constipated, it means that I need to go to the toilet, but I can't.
Yeah.
And I think that's a normal way of thinking about it.
Yeah, it is.
And
but when you're not in that headspace, you can.
But when you diet, you aren't going to go to the toilet all the time because you haven't got as much waste.
Yeah.
So let's say when you eat food, why you're like that is because when your calories are so low, all of those calories are now being utilized, like to do the things that you need to do in your daily life, to move, etc. All the energy is getting burnt. But then, because of that, there's zero wastage. So that's why you're not going to the toilet. It doesn't mean that I don't know where you're getting the laxative stuff from.
Booze. But it was like one of the ones that you have to be prescribed.
They have, Milos used to recommend dietist tea.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of hot drinks.
It's not very nice, put it that way. But that was his peak
But
profile.
it's funny. It's just funny. You do something like when you're in that headspace where you're just solely focused on you would just want to eat. Some of the things that you do is just it's crazy. It's
absolutely mental, isn't it? Yeah, I think in terms of I guess your activity and the most that you did, that was probably the hardest week, right? The 2 weeks.
That was like I said. I thought I'm going to kill myself. This is going to kill me, and I couldn't soon. Because I was like in the headspace of where if I can get everything done by 3 o'clock. So I was doing all that activity, like cardio 6 when the gym opened, training like at 12 till whenever, then just going for a mad walk and coming back. If I got to 3, 4 o'clock, my day was done. I could just have a shower and get into bed.
I used to do all my steps in one shot as well.
Yeah.
So I think I remember doing like 20,000 steps. I used to walk with my wife as well at the time. We would go for hours, man.
Yeah, just go for hours.
It was like walking the dog with me. I could not hold down any liquid. So I'll be going for this walk for like 2 hours, right? And
that happens though when you're dieting then.
I'll be pissing. I'm just like, I need a pee. I'm desperate. Yeah. And there is so much pee. And I'm like, I don't think I drank that much water. Why is there so much pee? And I think you get to a stage as well where you can't sleep. So, or you can sleep, but then you constantly wake up because you go to the toilet.
Yeah. I was waking up probably going like 6 times in the night would be normal.
Yeah, it's normal, right? And you just get used to it.
Be like, well, maybe I'll drink a little bit less before I go to bed, but then it still happens.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what it is about that. I think it's like a stress thing. Right?
Is it not something to do as well with the lack of carbohydrates? So there's not as much.
I think it's
the water doesn't hold as well.
I think when you're diabetic as well, like when you're pre-diabetic, you have people who say dehydration or going to the toilet frequently is a sign of pre-diabetic, right? It's one of the signs, and I think it's part of that insulin response where you go hypo at night and hence you go pee. So I think somewhere there, I don't know if that's 100% true, so don't quote me on that. But I think it's somewhere like that.
You ever fainted on prep?
I haven't fainted, but I know you have.
Oh, nice, yeah.
I have passed out in terms of eating, because I remember having those the low carb noodles, the shirataki noodles were they're like 30 calories for they're this is what I mean. When you prep, you start eating food that you wouldn't normally eat, and you think it tastes good.
Yeah.
So
anything that's going to add volume.
Yeah, you just think it tastes amazing, and it's like, nah, that's weird, bro.
Yeah.
I remember I backed like 2 or 3 packs of those noodles, right?
Yeah, it's just not.
Instead of using, and I threw up.
Yeah.
I threw up, and it was like elastic bands, bro.
Ooh,
like just elastic. That is the sensation of what it felt like. At the time, I felt like, I was just passed out.
Yeah.
I just felt so sick. I remember all the vessels in my face burst because
crazy.
I was vomiting, and what prep is such a lovely thing.
What
happened to you?
Well,
you passed out, right? You said.
I've been trying to top up my tan.
All right.
And like then I must have fell asleep in the sun or something, and then was severely dehydrated, but was like hella vascular. So I did that typical prep thing where any mirror you walk past, got hit with the flex. And I remember thinking, this is mad. Like the way my chest was like hella vascular, I propped my phone up on like the mantelpiece thing, and I gave it the most muscular, like that, squeezed as hard as I could. Whilst on video, and I just fell backwards, smashed my head on my wardrobe, and was like literally on the floor for like a minute, not knowing what was going on. But yeah, for the sake, because I was going to send you the video to say, look, like we're getting like we're getting somewhere. That I just literally went backwards, like a building has just fallen.
Did you wake up thinking, what the fuck?
I woke up and
because you've been fainting before.
I fainted once when I was a kid. I was on the bus.
Oh, do we want to know this story?
I don't know. I ran for the bus, and I remember getting onto the bus, and I was with one of my friends, Charlie. It was packed bus going down anyone at central London going towards Blackfriars Bridge. Hectic that time of the morning. It was packed, and I was like next to a woman in like a businesswoman in a suit, and I fell forwards into her chest.
Oh mate!
And she must have thought that I was like, I don't know what she
going
was.
to town.
Yeah, literally like preschool sort of fun. And obviously she's moved out the way, but I've carried on falling.
Oh shit!
And I smashed my head again.
So you didn't land in her knockers?
I did land in them.
Oh,
I landed in them.
Oh shit!
And then she moved out of the way.
She wasn't wearing no low top, right?
I can't remember what she was wearing, but I was in there. I was in there, buddy. Let me tell you that. And then she moved out the way. And my head bang on the side of the.
What did she say anything?
Oh, I think she realised that I had fainted.
Oh, right.
I can't remember. Then like, trying to wake me up, and then
oh, really?
I had a Ribena and I was good to go again.
Good hypo. You're taking too much insulin.
I don't know why. I ran for the bus.
Really?
I was a bit heavier. Well, not heavier, but I was a bit less fit back then. So
too much insulin, bro. That's what it is.
It's not the insulin. Nothing to do with the insulin. But yeah, fainting on prep is not. A couple of people have told me that they've had that, but you're just so not with it.
Yeah.
Especially in the night as well. I think in the night when I get up, and you get up quite quickly, and then your head, you get like that sort of head rush thing. You're like, whoa, like. I'm gonna go over here. That happens. I mean, I don't know if it happens to anyone else. That happens to me quite.
I've never fainted before, so that's scary.
Yeah, it is. And then obviously, if you smash your head, then you're like,
you don't know what's going on, isn't it?
Especially if you insert a video of me fainting here.
Yeah, I know. You're taller, so you got a longer distance to fall as well.
Bro, listen, the way I smashed my head and watched it back on the video.
Did you feel pain like when you woke up?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh fucking hell! Go on.
You've seen the video, bro. It's right on the corner.
I remember it, but I can't really remember everything. You know what I mean?
Lights out, man. That was it. Wow.
Oh, man. So I remember, going back to what you were saying about the tanning, right? So I made the worst mistake ever on my first ever prep, and I thought, do you know what? It'd be a really good idea to get a base tan.
Nice.
As you do, right?
What, weekly or just?
No, this is just like this is
one-off?
2 weeks before.
2 weeks out base tan.
2. I was just like, we need to get this tan going, right? And so I'm quite pale. Maybe we should get a base tan. Like so. One of my friends there, he was going to these sunbeds. These the standing ones.
Stand up one, yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
He goes all the time. So I was like, "Is it? Do you need to put sunscreen on? How long?" He's like, "I'll go in for like 10 minutes, right?" And
but he's a regular user of the sunbed.
Yeah.
And
he's like, I don't put any sunscreen on, nothing. I'm like, oh, cool. So I went 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I came out. I wasn't like red, nothing. I just felt it's hot, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was like, once it sets though.
Went to the gym, like a couple hours later. I was just like, fucking hell, man, this is hurting. I was doing squats. right? And I was just
bar
like,
on your back.
this is hurting, man. I'll tell you, this is the worst burns I've ever had in my whole life. I was burnt everywhere, except from the berry penis. That was it. Everywhere was burnt, and I was so red. And it was at a point where, because you're so deep into prep, and you just like you're just angry anyway, right?
And also, you just gotta get on with it.
Yeah, I was angry, and I was peeling. I was itchy. I had, like, just think of, when you go on holiday and you get the worst burn, you fall asleep in the sun, you get a mad burn on, I don't know, your arm or something.
I always get it on my shoulders.
Yeah. Times that by 5, 10, everywhere. There wasn't a single bit of my skin. Like, putting on a t-shirt was painful. That kind of vibe. And I was just never been so burnt in my life. I was peeling all the way up until the show.
I think sunbeds though is one of the things in prep as well, where it's like, that this is, it's not good for you, but
in my head,
I think it makes you feel like I look at that with the shaving thing and the whole shaving of your body thing. So you start shaving your whole body from like, so I was doing it for like 6 months out, but shaving your whole body is a big task.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't know about that. I'm like hairless.
No, well, let me tell you, it's a big task. And with the sunbed thing, I was having sunbeds 3 times a week. Like,
that's nuts.
8 to 10 minutes at a time every Monday.
Did you put sunscreen on?
No.
I don't
you
see.
put on, like, sometimes you get like the tan enhancer cream that you put on.
But then don't you get burnt?
No, but so if you use it regularly, then obviously your skin becomes like accustomed to it, doesn't it? So you are.
So
like,
the first time
brown.
You should really only go.
The first time
like
you
a
should
minute.
do maybe 2 minutes. 2 minutes, like 3 times a week or something. And that's not me giving any advice about how to use a sunbed, by the way, because I do not endorse the use of sunbeds.
Oh, so I should have just gone in for like a minute or something.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, I mean,
because obviously I got absolutely. Well, I think it was 5 minutes, but it could have been longer.
I mean,
it was absolutely frightening.
It is one of those prep things, though, isn't it? Because it does help with.
Well, you think it would,
your
right?
muscles, and
you think it would, right? But you're getting a tan anyway. You're getting a spray tan, bro.
Yeah, but I think when you're in the gym, so when you're dieting, my whole mindset around it was, well, I want to see roughly what I'm not going to look like with the tan on, but having that base layer it helps when, pictures and
maybe
things like that.
But
3 times a week was a joke.
I didn't even think about it, but at the time, obviously, my body weight probably was all fucked up because you're holding a lot of water because you're burnt.
Yeah.
You're hot, you're bothered, you can't sleep. It just like that's the last thing you want 2 weeks out, right?
Yeah.
I've had the worst peak weeks, honestly.
Yeah, you have had the worst for peak weeks.
I had that burning situation, right? Those for 2 weeks. There's only one competition that I've done that I feel like, okay, I've actually had a decent peak week. That was 2019.
And was that your best result?
I think it was my leanest. Actually, even then, that peak week wasn't great.
There always seems to be something that crops up with you.
I went into hospital because of the nut allergy. That was bad. Still won the show on the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, that is really,
that's really good.
That is really impressive.
Yeah.
But did you know you had a nut allergy?
I must have not. Well,
what was it that you ate?
I ate So this goes back to the cheating, right?
Oh, so hang on. If you're going to tell me that you cheated and then you had this nut allergy, then you deserve
my mum made these walnut cake thing, right? And I just thought, I'll just have a little bit of this. Literally like, I'd say no more than the tiny little crease where my baby finger is, right? I just wanted to try what it was like. And I thought, let me put in my fitness pal and navigate some calories around this, right?
Guesstimate.
But there was nuts, there was like walnuts there. I'm not a big fan of nuts anyway, so I picked it off, right? Flicked it off. I didn't eat that. But she's grounded walnut like into it, right? And I had it, and I just remember like I was like, oh fuck, I got stomach ache. Went out to the toilet, sat down on the toilet, and I was just like, oh man, this is so painful. Obviously you hadn't eaten no food, you got nothing to put out, right? And then after that, I was sweating, and I had you have your elbows on your knees or your legs, and I could just feel like the hives coming up and the swelling, and I was just like, oh, this is grim. Got off the toilet, I was just on the floor in my bedroom, just there like sweating, going, what is going on?
That was a serious reaction.
And then I came downstairs to my mum and I'm like, I think we should go to hospital. I'm not feeling too great. And then she took me, and obviously at the time it was kind of like still kind of COVID-y, and it was packed, man. And I was just stood there like waiting to be, and my mum was like, told the reception lady, she was like, I think you need to take him. I think like he's dying out here. Like she made it sound worse than it was. I probably was.
Yeah, probably. Well,
right.
And then she left for a period of time.
She got the I think oxygen thing or something. She was testing me, and she was like, took me in straight away, bypassed everyone, took me in straight away. They jabbed me with like adrenaline, double jab, took me upstairs, took my bloods, was doing everything. I was there overnight. It was crazy. Hell. Yeah.
And then what day was that?
That was the Monday.
On the Monday, and then
the Sunday.
On the Sunday you came.
And
first.
I had my stag the Tuesday.
Oh yeah, so you got married in peak week, didn't you, as well?
The second time. Yeah.
Yeah, you got married and ate loads of wedding cake.
Yeah, I just ate loads of cake. I was just like,
I'll tell you what, that is commitment to your wife, man.
Nah,
I don't know if there's a lot of people out there that would have done that.
I think so.
No, I don't know.
You don't think?
I don't think there is, no.
So you're telling me that you would choose a bodybuilding prep over your wife?
If it was the final week. That's not over the wife. That's not... It's about planning it. I don't think a lot of people would plan.
We didn't plan that.
I don't think a lot of people
would plan
my prep to have it in their peak week.
Well, I started my prep beforehand, right?
Yeah.
And it was only then later that we planned to, because we wanted to buy a house at the time. And we were like, well, that's not happening this year.
But then I wouldn't have done the show.
I didn't want to do the show. I think in my head I was like, should I do the show? Should I not? I thought, okay, fuck it. Let me just do the show. Pay for it anyway.
Yeah.
Right, did the show. Still won it.
Yeah.
Still won it.
So basically, it doesn't matter what happens to you during peak week. If you're competing against him, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's that. He's coming for that first place. He's coming for it. Doesn't matter. Wedding, nut allergy, cake, nut doesn't matter. Cheating on his diet during prep doesn't matter. He's coming for it. First place.
There you go. But yeah, it just goes to show, like, I think I've never really quite hit the condition that I wanted, right? Obviously because of numerous different reasons. But yeah, I think at the time, like, I wanted to enjoy my wedding because
definitely
you're going to do that once in your life.
You're going to do that once, yeah. Well,
so, yeah, hopefully. So I was like, I'm doing this.
No
regrets.
What I mean is, I don't think a lot of people would.
Yeah, plan the wedding.
If they were competing and then it was like, we have to get married now, I think a lot of people would either say, no, we have to wait till afterwards.
Yeah.
Or on the wedding would still be like, got to do my cardio, got to do my steps.
No, I was fully committed. Like,
yeah, you were fully into the wedding, but
I wanted to eat anyway, so it was a little bit like, well, the wedding's here.
Yeah, might as well just do both.
I remember we did, so we, with the Chinese culture, we do like a little like games and playing, right? And we had to, one of the tasks was we had to eat these, those crackers, what are they, the Jacob's crackers? The proper dry ones, the square ones.
I mean, all crackers are dry.
But anyway, those square ones, right? And it was, we have to eat the whole pack between 4 of us, no water, in like a minute.
What's that, like 60 grams of carbs?
I don't know how many. But
per pack?
Fucking dry. Like, if you've never done that challenge before, make sure, like, give it a try.
What sort of wedding is this? Sounds like...
So this is kind of like pre-wedding and then
you
play some games. And if you're Chinese, you'll know this. But, man, I remember eating those crackers and it just removed all the saliva from your mouth. And you get to a point where I can do this easy because I was hungry, I was on prep. And I was eating it, I was like, where's the water gone? It's like... just dried out my mouth and you can even swallow it, and
that's crazy.
That was quite funny, but I've had some really bad peak weeks. Hopefully we have some better
next
ones.
When's the next one?
I'm not sure. Obviously, as if you don't know, I have a baby now, and obviously she takes priorities. Initially I did want to prep this year, but obviously baby came along and I think I
ruined it.
I think if I was truly honest, if I had think about prep, even if I didn't have the baby, I probably wouldn't have prepped this year anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that obviously adds to the excuse of not prepping. But I'd like to say I want to prep next year, but I am enjoying eating. I like living my life normally. I think prep is a very
selfish.
Yeah, and it's something that you're going to have to do for a long time, right? you prep for 52 weeks. I did 45 last time.
It's a long time.
It's at the very least, it's going to be 30-week diet, right? If you're doing natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to do well. And I think that's a long time to commit to a diet, right? And it's a long time of feeling kind of crap. And when you got a baby, you got other things. I think as you get older, the want to prep is definitely less. Like the need to do it. Like you don't. When you're young, you have, and I'm saying it like I'm so old, but I think when you're younger, you have this thing of I need to prove my self-worth. I need to prove myself.
Yeah, definitely.
I need to do this thing. And you have less stresses. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have, wife, kids, those kind of things. And it's easy to prep, man. Like I could prep, when I was younger, but now it's like, it is definitely, there is more.
You have to think about it a lot more.
There's a lot more things. And it's not even just with prep. It's with life in general.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of other things that you just have to deal with as you get older.
Yeah, I don't think people,
that's what makes.
Yeah, I don't think people appreciate what goes. Like, if you've never done it before.
Yeah, everyone always thinks, oh yeah, I'll do a diet. Like I'll do some coaching, I'll do some fat loss.
Yeah, well, that same person says to do the diet messes up after a week. It's like
it's hard, man. Like, and you mess up.
It's hard. Anyone that takes that first step in doing the prep and saying, I'm going to give everything to this, then anyone that steps up on that stage is like they've worked. For sure. They would have had to sacrifice a lot to be at that point.
Yeah. Even if you don't quite make the mark, there's always some geezer that's going to turn up super lean, right?
Yeah.
And just makes everybody else look fat.
Always. There's always that one person who probably just, like, why did you have to do this?
Yeah. That's what I mean.
You could have waited till next week.
It's like, this is just a qualifier, bro.
Yeah, literally.
Why are you looking like, this is...
Literally. How long have you been dieting for? 52 weeks. What about you? 10.
So that's it. But what's the lowest kind of, I guess, mindset that you've had on prep? So have you ever had any kind of self-doubts or things where you're just like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to win this anyway. I may as well just give up kind of thing. Did you ever feel like that?
Not so much I'm not going to win it, because I think, like you said, it's just one of the things. It just depends who turns up. You could literally turn up, be out of shape, but be the only person in the class. And, people still post online saying first place.
You could be like me, where you could compete against me, where this guy's cheating all the time.
Exactly, and then you're just like, I think lowest mindset point would always be post fasted cardio, and it would be when you're trying to do abs or whatever, and you're like, you look at the time, it's like it's 5 o'clock in the morning, because I would do mine at like
crazy times,
4:15, 4:30 in the morning, anytime fitness.
What time do you sleep?
Bro, in prep, I'm going to sleep about 8:30.
Really?
8:30.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Really?
So that would be a normal wake up time for me.
That's organised, right?
You're going to do that sort of cardio in the morning then, and you're looking around, it's like there's no one there. It is lonely. Prep is lonely, and I think when you're in that space where people don't understand it, the invite, like for me, when I'm always about 3 months away, I always have to go to a different gym because I don't want to talk to people.
See, yeah, you feel lonely, but then you also like that loneliness.
You like the, but where you become irritable, where like normally you talk to people in the gym, you stop, have a chat, where it's just like, you know what, I just haven't got energy to speak. But then you come across as like rude. So I remember people before even like saying that to my friends, saying, well, bloody hell, what's wrong with him? Like, why is he
miserable? And
he's just like, oh, he's dieting. And it's like, I don't want to come across like that. So I'd rather go to an environment.
Avoid people.
Yeah, literally. But I'd rather be in an environment where no one knows me, where no one's going to talk to me. I literally just go and do what I need to do, leave. But then you're like missing out on all the social aspects of things as well, because you could still be there, but then you're just there in body. Like I've been out before, like deep into prep, and it's like you're just sitting there staring into space because you can't actually take anything in, enjoy the moment, because all you're thinking about is, when am I next going to eat? I need to be asleep by this time. I need to go home.
That's
now.
what I hated about prep.
And I've got to do, and that way, if you're someone who's quite sociable anyway, like I would still go out and I'd be like slipping off to my car to, eat my cold chicken and rice out of a box, then go back. You know, everyone else is eating and like doing whatever. It's a bit like, well, is everyone just sitting there thinking, the hell's the matter with this guy? Like,
probably are.
like, yeah, guys, we'll be back in 10 minutes. Just got to go to my car. I remember I've been out like with friends and
you just enjoying this gourmet meal as well, and your Tupperware container going like, this is the best.
Well, I've been in it before where it's just like you got a cold chicken breast and you got 5 rice cakes and that's
not the fish, not fish and rice.
Not the fish and the rice cake. But like I said, I did a post on it online. I remember I was out with 2 of my friends, Mike and Brad. And
shout out Mike,
big Mike. And I had literally had 2 chicken breasts in one pocket and 5.
How did you have it? Was it?
So I just had it in the pocket, just
no plastic bag.
No, just in cling film.
Okay. I thought you were just like raw.
And we was out in Soho. We were out in Soho, and they ate whatever they ate. And I remember I didn't want to eat because I thought we'd be out till like 1-2 o'clock-ish in the morning or something. I wanted to eat at like 10 o'clock when I would normally have like my shake before bed or whatever. I remember going to this club, bouncers patting you down, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's this? I just pulled out the chicken breast and he's looking like this. I'm like, don't ask, man, please. And I can remember like I couldn't even stand up.
Yeah. Like
in the picture, I'm just sat down and people I posted saying like, oh yeah, 50 grams of carbs in the left pocket, 200 grams of protein in the right. And people are like, they don't believe it. Yeah. I'm like, no, I've asked them, I'm telling you. And I remember just walking, when we came out at the club or whatever, I remember walking down the street, just backed out and started eating it. But like they understood, like they knew
that you're absolutely nuts.
Yeah. But those are levels that, you know, if you want to do well, I'm not saying that I did do well because I don't think that I did, but I didn't want to step on stage knowing that I didn't give it 100%, and that's all. That's more like where my adherence comes from. Is like if I'm not going to play, so I'm not going to. I want it to be because, you know, everyone else is just better than you, and rather than if I would have had that meal, if I would have stuck to my meal plan or done whatever, then maybe I would have done better. So there's no question that the guys that came above me were better than me, and that's just it. It's not because I didn't do everything that I could have.
I think I always go for the easy way out almost. You know, where you're like, at the time, I'm looking really good. But in my head, I'm looking at other people online going, this guy, he's looking wicked. Like, he's better than me. You know, and then you're like, I'm not going to beat this guy anyway. And you kind of eat your way out of it. And then when you get beat by the person, you're like, he's better than me. And that's what I thought.
Yeah, literally.
You know, and
then you enjoyed your meal and you still come first place anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Self-fulfilling prophecy, you know, that kind of thing. That's what I feel like is stopping me. I don't know what it is. Whenever I get into that low like body weight, that's what goes through my head.
I think I'm more the opposite. It's more like whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do it. But whether I'm good enough,
that's a separate story.
On the day is
whatever.
That's by the by. But whatever's thrown at me, then I'll give it my best shot.
I think because I know that I have the potential. So
definitely. Someone like you is actually more annoying that you do stuff like that, because it's like, especially like you get into that shape knowing that you're probably giving it 85. 80%. Well, he's laughing. 85. It's 75.
No. I do put in a lot of effort. It's just it's like almost like I peak too early. It's almost like I'm at this point and then I'm just looking over my shoulder too much, and I'm thinking, damn, this.
It's a long road as well.
Yeah, and I think it's having too much time to yourself and thinking and just like self-doubt and all that stuff that creeps in, man.
Well, that is a big factor.
Yeah,
but
it's backing yourself, right? To be like, it doesn't matter. Like, and I think I put too much pressure on myself to, try to win or try to be great, because I know even myself, I have the potential to do really well. And I think it's almost worse sometimes.
Than just doing it for the sake of doing it. But like I said, anyone that goes up on that stage is undoubtedly giving it
for sure
what they can, and regardless,
everyone's got their own little prep story, right?
Yeah,
which
definitely.
Is why,
definitely. I mean, there's so many things come with that, but
for sure. All right, man. So boom, that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed our prep stories. If you like this and you feel like you need some help with your fitness journey, you can find me at Gym with Him on Instagram, and my co-host Archie is at Archie13 with 2 E's. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all on the next one. Bye.